Hey there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another pickup video. Been a really good week for Vault Editions. I was able to pick up some really interesting stuff. You know, I enjoyed what I picked up, but I do think I went a little overboard again with the movies. But like always, I wanted to share it with you guys. I hope you like it, so let's get started. First off, my only video game pickup. Like I mentioned in my life update video, I just don't have the time to play video games that much anymore. But I saw this one and I thought it was worth the pickup. I picked up Ms. Pac-Man on the Super Nintendo. If you've ever played the arcade or played one of the many versions of the Namco arcade collection that have been released on every console, you've probably already picked up or played Ms. Pac-Man, but it's still a fun game. I thought it was worth the pickup, especially for the price I got it. Books. I picked up some books, and the first book I want to talk about is the sequel to the book I'm reading right now, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I picked up The Girl That Played with Fire. Obviously, because I haven't finished the first book, I haven't even started this one. But I only read the part here on the back and the prologue here. So the only thing I know about it is that it starts 6 months after the end of the first book. But again, until I don't finish that one, I'm not going to even jump into this one. But I really like the character of Salander, which is the girl with the dragon tattoo. I think she's really interesting. So I want to see what happens with her, and I'm going to have to pick up the third book somehow, which is called The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. Once I'm done with this one, I'm going to track down the third book in the series because I really like this. Well, I'm really liking the first book, so yeah. Went to Big Lots and they had two books for $3 each, which I thought was really interesting. The books, and I picked the first one of those two books is How to Be a Vampire, Fang Son Guide for the Newly Undead. Basically, this is like a what-if book. You know, if you got bitten by a vampire and you're starting to turn into a vampire, this thing gives you tips on, you know, how to dress, what coven you can belong to. But it also has some really interesting things here and there. Like it has a section on the type of vampires that exist. And it, you know, even has it references a lot of pop culture. Like it references Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It references stuff like Interview with a Vampire, Twilight. You know, a whole bunch of vampire lore in this book, and I thought it was really cool. And the other book they had is How to Be a Zombie. Same thing. If you were recently bitten by a zombie. You know, what you can expect as far as changes, that everything's going to happen to you. It also has a section on all the types of zombies that there are, like voodoo zombies, comet zombies, Necronomicon zombies, rage zombies, and both books actually also have a section that recommends, you know, vampire or zombie books, movies, video games, comic books. So, you know, it has a lot of really interesting information for both monsters. Obviously, if I could pick, I would rather be a vampire than a zombie, because, you know, zombies are... I don't think it would be fun being a zombie. But a vampire, at least, you know, that would be interesting. But I thought they were really interesting books, and I rather enjoyed them. On some movies, I picked up Scent of a Woman, starring Al Pacino and Chris O'Donnell. Al Pacino plays this retired blind military guy, and Chris O'Donnell's the guy that is there to help him out. So you know, they discover that they need each other. It's a really good movie, and this is the movie that won Al Pacino his Oscar. So yeah, it's funny that Chris O'Donnell later went on to do the Batman movies, but he was really good in this one. Also picked up Daylight, starring Sylvester Stallone. Remember really liking this movie a lot. It starts off with this car chase, and this guy's trying to run away from the police. He goes into this underground freeway tunnel, loses control of his car, smashes into a bunch of gasoline, there's a big explosion, and like this section of the tunnel collapse. So there's people stuck in there. So Sylvester Stallone gets into the tunnel and is trying to figure out all these crazy ways on how to get the people out, and how to get everyone to safety. It's a really good movie. I remember liking this movie a lot, and it stars Sylvester Stallone, so it's another movie for the Stallone collection. Picked up Martin Lawrence live, Run Tell That. This is Martin Lawrence doing stand-up. Really like Martin Lawrence in movies like Bad Boys or Wild Hogs. He was really good in that. And of course his TV show Martin, he was really good in that. This one, however, is 50-50. Martin Lawrence's delivery is really cool. Some of the jokes kind of fall flat. So some jokes really do work, but like I said, others fall flat. So it's 50-50. Picked up Clue, the movie. This is based on the Parker Brothers board game, so kind of weird that they made a movie on that. But it stars Christopher Lloyd, and it has Tim Curry in it, starring playing this butler type character. It's a movie from the 80s that I thought was really cool. Because it leaves you guessing on who done it, and this one actually has 3 endings. The one that was probably the one that I saw, plus 2 alternate endings to keep people guessing. So thought that was really cool. Completed my Akira Kurosawa collection with Volume 3 of the Akira Kurosawa movies. The only Akira Kurosawa movie I was missing was Rashomon, which is one of his samurai movies. But this box set also has The Drunken Angel and Hakuchi, which I've never seen, so I don't know what they're about. But I went to this video store that had their box sets for 50% off. So Rashomon usually costs like 75 pesos. Got the box set for 98 pesos. So for a few pesos more, I got 2 extra movies. So I thought that was pretty awesome. And like I said, with this, I complete my Akira Kurosawa collection, so really happy about that. Here in Mexico, we have our luchadors. There are wrestling icons. They have their mask and they fight. But there's one luchador which is like iconic in Mexico, and that's El Santo, El Enmascarado de Plata. He was like the best luchador back in the day, and he made a whole bunch of movies, and he was like the superhero luchador. He would fight zombies and werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. And he released a bunch of movies during the 60s and the 70s before he retired and his son took the mantle. But this box set actually contains Santo versus Dracula. He has a time machine and he travels back in time to the era of Dracula, so he has a fight with Dracula. I thought that was cool. He fights in this one against, in another movie, against the daughter of Frankenstein, who needs Santo's blood to create this elixir of eternal life. So he actually has a battle with the Frankenstein monster. And the third movie that this box set has is El Santo contra los Jinetes del Terror. Basically, this town is being terrorized by these criminals. So they call in Santo to, put a stop to them. But the town is also secretly organizing this lynch mob. So Santo, he has to stop the criminals while at the same time stop the town from going crazy. And when I saw that as a kid, I thought, wow, that's pretty deep. Because, he's kind of like stuck in the middle between stopping the criminals and stopping the normal people from becoming criminals. So I thought that was interesting. And you see the movies nowadays, they're cheesy as heck, but, this is a Mexican icon, so I'm really happy to pick up this collection. The swap meet, I picked up Tarzan and Jane. This is one of the Disney sequels that came out. This is actually based more on the TV show. There was a Tarzan TV show, and so the animation on this is TV quality, but it's still pretty good. This one I'm really happy to pick up. I picked up the 2-disc collector's edition of King Kong. King Kong is an awesome black and white movie released in 1933, and They did some amazing special effects in this movie. They pioneered a whole bunch of stuff that even today most people don't really know how they did it because a lot of the information has been lost. But this collection has the second disc that has a 7-part documentary on, you know, the history of King Kong, what they know of how they did with the special effects in the movie, and it actually also has a part where Peter Jackson, who made the King Kong remake a few years ago, actually with stop motion and puppets and everything recreated a lost scene from the King Kong movie. So it's really, really interesting. And the movie, like I said, is just freaking awesome. It's really, 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 really cool. And it's the first, like, you know, giant, big-name monster movie. Picked up Castle in the Sky. It's a movie by Hayao Miyazaki from Studio Ghibli. And I've actually been trying to track down more of their movies. I only own Princess Mononoke. And I'm trying to get Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Those are the two movies I'm really after. But this one's also pretty good. I really like this one. Picked up this classic cartoon favorites starring Donald. It's a pretty lackluster DVD. It only has 8 of Donald's you know, classic cartoons. But I picked it up really cheap. So yeah. Out of all the Disney characters, Donald is my favorite. Goofy comes a close second because he also had some really amazing cartoons, but Donald was always my favorite, even though he was a big jerk. But Donald was always cool. Also in the same place I got that, I picked up the first season of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends. You know, Rocky J. Squirrel and Bullwinkle the Moose. Cartoon series that came out in 1959, I believe. So the animation is kind of but it's actually still pretty funny. The only thing is it doesn't come with the little cardboard thing, but it has all 4 discs. It has all 40 episodes of the first story arc, and then 12 of the second story arc that they did. And it has, you know, Mr. Peabody, and it has Fractured Fairy Tale. So I thought it was pretty good. I also got this really dirt cheap, so for like 300 minutes of fun, the price I got, I couldn't resist. Blockbuster is still having that buy 5 DVDs or Blu-rays for under $10 for $20. So I went there and I picked up some Blu-rays and 2 DVDs. I picked up Kick-Ass, starring Nicolas Cage and the guy that did McLovin. I remember skipping this in the theaters. I was looking more forward to Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That one was the bigger one I wanted to see. I heard a lot of people say the Kick-Ass was pretty good also. Saw it, and yeah, it's actually pretty awesome. Still think Scott Pilgrim is way better, but this one's not as bad as I thought. So, yeah. Picked up the last Disney 2D movie, Princess and the Frog. I really wish this would have done better because I really like the Disney 2D. Entangled was pretty good, but there's just something about doing movies in, you know, 2D animated cell style that, you know, I just wish they did more of. But this is the last Disney movie and that they did in this style, and it's pretty cool, especially the bad guy. He's voiced by the guy that did Goliath, Goliath's voice on Gargoyle, so thought that was cool. Picked up The Chronicles of Narnia, The Witch, the Lion, and the Wardrobe. The only Chronicles of Narnia movie I've seen. I have not seen any of the other movies. But I thought the first one was pretty cool. Even though the main villainess, the Ice Queen, I thought she was pretty awesome. But the whole movie felt like a Lord of the Rings light, if that kind of makes sense. But still, decent movie, even though it's the only one I've seen. Also in Blockbuster, I finally completed my Kevin Smith collection by picking up Clerks. This is the first movie in the BUSQ universe. It introduces Dante, Randall, Jay and Silent Bob. It's in black and white. It's filmed like in this security cameras thing. But like I said, it's the last movie I needed to complete my BUSQ universe collection. So now that's done. Last movie I picked up there was Legion. It's God is, you know, frustrated with humans, so he sends his angels to basically bring the apocalypse. I went to see it in the theater. I thought it was really cool. did not realize this until someone pointed out. But this is the plot. Has the plot of the Terminator in it. Archangel Michael travels down to Earth naked to go and save this child that hasn't been born yet, because that child is going to save humanity. Again, went to see this in the movie theater, did not realize that until someone actually made the comparison. Like, well, dude, that's the plot from the Terminator. And I'm like, yes, it is. It is the plot from the Terminator. But still, I thought it was a good movie. At Big Lots, I completed my Pierce Brosnan James Bond collection with GoldenEye. This is his first, Pierce Brosnan's first outing as James Bond, and it's an amazing movie. It's, of course, the movie that inspired the N64 game. So really, really cool. With this one, I complete my Pierce Brosnan collection. So yeah, that's another collection completed. And the last movie I picked up at a swap meet is Daddy Daycare with Eddie Murphy. It's about this dad that loses his job and can't afford to pay private school. So he opens up his own daycare, and hilarity ensues. But I really like this movie because of this guy that brings up all these comic book and Star Wars references. I thought that he was cool in this movie. But yeah. So yeah, that was a pickup video. Like always, I like to recommend the things that I enjoyed the most. And I'm going to recommend King Kong because, yeah, this movie is awesome. If you don't like black and white movies, I'm not going to convince you to watch this. But definitely an awesome, awesome movie, and just what they were able to do back then, and innovate all these special effects was really cool, and I really respect that. So, yeah, I'm gonna mention El Santo, just because I live in Mexico, and he's like our superhero. This guy's our superhero. So yeah, and we're gonna recommend these two books. Because, like I said, I read them. I thought they had really interesting information, and just the pop culture reference makes them worth a read. So, these two. So, I hope you enjoyed this pickup video. Please leave a comment or a suggestion, something I should watch, or something you would like to see in these videos. But, like always, I do appreciate you watching, and if you leave a comment, thank you. But until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78, signing off.